Hi, welcome to today's program. I'm really excited about today. Today, we're delighted to have a large part of the Body Full of Joy team with us. So welcome to our usual work remote strategies. Here's what's exciting about this Body Full of Joy team. This is a new public health initiative that was started during the time of the coronavirus, which, as you know, all of these episodes that we've been doing, this was started during the time of coronavirus to see what kind of tools you can take away. So I'm excited and hoping that you will feel interactive here and be willing to move on your own side of the screen. This story, as I understand, and I always, as you know, love a story, is when Martin Seligman, who founded Positive Psychology, when he started thinking about the coronavirus and ways that we can help ourselves, he said, let's do more positive things and let's do more movement things. And when he said this as an active response to coronavirus, a couple of people stepped up, Amanda Moffa and Elaine O'Brien, and they brought this team together to do exactly that. So you may think, okay, well, what can you do with movement and the coronavirus? But they took Marty up on this charge, and together they created a series of 1-minute videos. We're going to be posting the link in the chat in the discussion box. And these are ways for us to move, stretch, relax, center, energize ourselves, even laugh and boost joy. So we're really, really, really glad to have them here. And I'll show you one more thing about them. Later, I'll also show you the website. We're thrilled to have them here. Hello, everybody. Hi.
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 Thank you, Senya.
And I'd love, first of all, to ask each of you, would you say your name and would you tell us a little bit about how movement or joy has been important in your life? Let's go with Elaine to start.
Yes. Hi, I'm Elaine O'Brien. I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to ask everybody to start moving right now. My favorite exercise, which is give yourself a hug, because we're kind of not being close to each other. So it's really important to get that hug action in. I started teaching dance fitness in the early 80s, and I noticed that it changed my mood. It helped me get in shape. It helped me be more productive at work, meet great people. And the biggest thing was that I found that the people that I was serving were doing really well. So later on, I got my master's in applied positive psychology from Penn in 2008. And then I went for my PhD in 2015 in the psychology of human movement and used my research to show that there's a legacy effect showing well-being in people who exercise moderately and regularly over time in an appreciative group of people, but that also their children and grandchildren are doing really well. So that, along with helping people to reduce the risk of alcoholism and drug abuse, has really helped me to just try and really spread more joy. And I love this team. And thank you for having us, Senya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Elaine. So it sounds like part of your research shows that as we exercise, benefits are going to go down to our kids and to our grandkids down the road.
They do. We have a legacy effect that we're demonstrating. It's very exciting. Exactly.
Thank you so much. Laura.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Taylor, and I'm delighted to be a part of the Body Full of Joy initiative. I came out literally because my mother was dancing. That's how I came into the world, and it has not stopped. I have been dancing for the better part of my life and moved into musical theater as a professional before coming to positive psychology, and now really interested in the integration of those passions. I feel that my ability to move and my dance has become a form of communication for me. It's not just about boosting mood for me, but also forms of expression and processing that has been really effective for my own well-being. So hopefully that will be something that you can also find joy in as well.
And for people who are watching, I invite you, even as we're going to do 1-minute exercises, think of how it's moving your body, but also how it's connecting to, like you're saying, Laura, to your mind, to other parts of you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you. Eileen.
Yeah, for me, first off, I'm Eileen Schaefer, and I am thrilled to be a part of this really neat group of people who put together Body Full of Joy. So I hope you will take time to tap on the link later and visit our website. There are, I think we have 30 up already for you to take a peek at. So that's my one plug on Body Full of Joy. So for me, I feel like a little bit of an outlier when it comes to exercise and fitness. If you asked me when I was a kid, and even as an early adult, do you like to exercise? I'd be like, oh my gosh, no. And the reason being is I had a limited definition of exercise. It equaled PE class. exercise was PE or it was calisthenics. I hated PE, absolutely hated it. However, if you asked me, did I exercise as a kid? I'd be like, no, I didn't, because that was my definition. But when I think about it, I walked to the beach. I rode my bike into town. I played tennis with friends. I did gymnastics. I danced. So I didn't think of that as exercise.
Okay.
So once we got past childhood and now I'm an adult and I'm like, I am not moving my body, but I don't want to do calisthenics. I was kind of stuck. And I thought, now what do I do? And I realized I need to update my definition of what is fitness. What does it mean to move your body? And that's when I got inspired, actually. And so I started figuring out, what do I like? And how can I combine that with exercise and moving my body? So that's how I got into it. And then my main thing that I do now, besides, I have a kind of a whole menu of things I like to do to move my body. But one of the things that's my favorite is walking. And so I walk with my clients because I believe deeply in walking and the mental health benefits in addition to the physical. We'll talk more about that later. And I'm also going to do a webinar with Senya specifically on walking later.
And you will see, as everybody's giving their introduction, we're populating LinkedIn and Facebook with the links to everybody's websites. So you'll see the things that they're talking about often reflected in their websites. Thank you. Leanne.
Thanks. So I'm Anne Mallory. I am the founder of a couple of organizations that do embodied leadership work. One is Leading in Motion. The other is Guts and Grace, which is a women's leadership program. And I really started out my life, much like the other folks here on the phone, as movers in some way, maybe non-traditional. So I was a dancer. I was a competitive baton twirling, both competition person and also an instructor, much of my young adult life. And then when I got a job, it was like, where does the body go? And I really found that everything about professional training taught me that that was like a different thing than my leadership or than my work in the world. Fast forward a little bit, I started to meet folks like the folks who run the Strozzi Institute and a few other organizations here in the Bay Area that do essentially a weave between some aspect of the body and our leadership or who we are as professionals. And that just made my entire life make sense to me. So I really started to get curious about what happens when we leave our bodies behind or we're not tapped into our bodies, and how that may actually get in the way of being as both as free and also as competent as we can be as leaders, but also as joyful and as fulfilled as we can be as leaders. So when I was in the MAP, the Positive Psychology program, I wrote my master's thesis on the role that the body plays in leadership, and specifically looked at practical wisdom, how we're able to use the right strength in the right moment at the right time. And it turns out that knowing and being connected with your body both makes that possible and also brings certain strengths online that you might not otherwise have access to. So I'm very interested in how being in our own skin in a deeper way makes us better leaders.
Okay, thank you, Leanne. So for everybody watching, this is the time to stand up. I've asked these 4 people who are running this and who have 1-minute videos on the internet, and we're putting links into the chat, to actually lead us in something. So get ready to move your body. We're gonna start with Elaine. Elaine, what should we do?
Okay, so we can just like lift up our hands and just shake hands and just wave to each other. And then one thing is, you put your fingers toward your thumb with a little bit of pressure. It's going to help your hands get more circulation. If we go right into a prayer hand, we could kiss our elbows together, open up and let me see your muscles and go, ooh la la. You can do the Tarzan yell. So on 3, we'll go ah, 1, 2, 3, ah. And another thing you could do is this little exercise where you're hitting gently your lymphatic area into your kidney. So you're actually giving like a little love pat here to each side. And again, this strengthens your immune system. So want to reduce the risk of communicable and non-communicable diseases. And how about just one more? Let's just shake it out and clap, clap. Feel the energy just change as you clap too. Ready? Shake it and clap it. How about 2 more? Shake it, clap it, and then 1 more, shake it, clap it, and you know what, give yourself a hug. And then if you're sitting at a computer, give yourself a backward hug to open up the shoulders, your chest, and your heart. Thanks.
This is what I find amazing when I watched your Body Full of Joy videos. That must have been less than 1 minute, but you did what, 23 things in there? I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Eileen, take us for a walk virtually.
I want to know who else wants to sign up for Elaine's fitness class. I'm like, sign me up. Now that is fun fitness, right? That is not PE. That is fun. So I'm going to do one for the neck. I am finding my clients as well as myself, our necks are getting really tight. And I also love changing our view. We're constantly looking like this, and sometimes we need just a change of view to put our gaze on something else. So we are going to first take the head to the right, and we are backwards from you all. So I'm going to try and do this so it works out. So we're going to look to your right and take a peek and see what's over there. Bring it forward and to the left. Take a peek. Make sure your shoulders are staying forward with you while your head is the only thing moving. To the center. We'll go one more time to the left. And center. Now to the left. And center. And then we'll just do the ear to, I'm going to do it to your right. And hold this shoulder down so it does not become an earring. And let's bring it forward and the other side. And take a peek around your room or in your space and notice something you haven't seen before, or you've seen but you forgot was there. And bring your head up forward. So when you feel tight, go ahead and do that. And like I said, take an inventory of what's cool in your space that you haven't noticed for a while.
Kind of combining two things, the stretch and an observation.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yay.
We're going to Laura. And for this, we're going to back up a little bit. And if you are at home, which most of us are, please follow along with Laura. Laura, take us there.
Hi, everybody. If I'm looking for like a quick way to engage my entire body after maybe sitting for quite a long time at a desk, one thing I like to do is just drop into a plank. You can be there for as little as 10 seconds or upwards of a minute, depending on your own fitness. So I encourage you to do what is right for your body, as we do with all of these videos. But what I'd like to show you now is just the basics of a plank. You get in so that your hips are nice in alignment with your shoulder girdle, right? You can even bend the elbows ever so slightly just to be sure your arms are engaged. Pushing through the fingers, which you can't see right now, but all 5 fingers should be spread on the hand and into the floor, and have those toes really pressing down so that your heels are elongating to the back. It's a very simple, easy place to be, but it engages that core quickly. And if you like, you can gently press. You could rotate to the side. You could stack. You could balance, you could do all kinds of things with a plank, right? So there's a lot of ways to go, and I encourage you to check out the 1-minute video for a few more ideas.
Thank you so much. If you are a person who is strong enough and you actually did this and followed along with Laura, we want to hear from you. Post in the comments, I did it. Let us know if you did that with Laura. We're all standing. We realized we would not be doing it. So let us know that you did. Share that success. Thank you so much. Thank you, Laura. And we'll take it to Leanne. What's a 1-minute thing 1-minute-ish thing that you'd like to share with us, Leanne?
Yeah, I would like to give us an opportunity to center together. And actually, often I'll teach this standing, but the truth is we can do this while we're at our computers and at our desks. So I'm going to go ahead and stay sitting because I want you to feel and see what this is like so you can find it later today. So very briefly, the body is 4 dimensions, top to bottom, side to side, front to back. And then in embodied leadership, we'll also talk about the organizing principle or the core, which you might go by metaphor as like purpose and by physiology as like that spot underneath your navel. So the body is designed to hang on the skeleton. That's the resting position and aligned in these 4 dimensions. So really briefly, you might go, okay, am I aligned top to bottom? If I'm sitting, that's like the top of my head is over my chest, is over my seat. Am I open side to side? So you might go, are my shoulders kind of out? Am I allowing my my energy and my presence to really fill myself out side to side? And then am I including both the back and the front without leaning back or leaning forward? So you might find like, where is the middle point right in the middle? And if you let your body be at rest in this way, this is the experience of, let's say, non-tension, or we might say center. From here, you can actually bring your attention down into your core, again, that place right below your navel, and kind of like ask your body, like, what matters right now when I'm in this centered place. Most of the time during the day, something changes about this or we lose it. So like our jaw locks or we get tense and we lean forward. And if you actually just try that on, like what's it like if you tense your fists and lean forward a little bit? This may not be your MO. Yours might be like you pull back a little bit from the screen and like your eyes freeze and look scared, right? But all of those things that we do in contraction spend more energy and also limit the flow of aliveness. And we might even say then the flow of joy in our bodies. So the move is to come back to these 4 dimensions in moments when you might realize that you're feeling stress, like check in with your body and see what's happening. And can you come back to center?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have a question for everybody on this call. Why 1-minute videos? Why were you interested in 1-minute videos? And just let me know whoever wants to go first. Why short and concise like that?
Just because they're snackable, they're quick and easy. You can get a mood change. You can feel inspired. You could have a laugh, feel stronger. And it was just something that seemed like people might really enjoy. And we're getting some really good feedback. So yeah, check them out.
Yeah, and I would add it's also sometimes difficult if we have the image in our head that exercise has to be X amount of time. We might push it off and be like, I don't have a half hour. I can't really engage my body right now. And we're trying to resist against that and say, actually, it doesn't take long. Dive into your body, find those connections, and maybe you can boost your mood even in a moment of distress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that, Laura. So just a moment to move your body and love your mind. It's perfect. And those little snippets matter.
We also knew that people were getting bombarded. You know, we're at home or working remotely, and you think, oh, people have all this time. I don't know anyone who has a lot of time on their hands, and people are working way longer hours from remote. And so we thought we really want people to take advantage of this. And so if we do something that's longer, it's not going to be appealing. And so this is something, it's like you've had a meeting, you have another meeting in half an hour or 15 minutes, boom, I can do something, get rejuvenated, put my head in a different place and be re-engaged. So that's also what we thought might be beneficial.
Totally. And I really found that half, maybe more than half the battle when it comes to connecting with the body is actually deciding to do it. And the decision happens in a very short moment of time. So if I decide to watch a video, I get 1 minute in, then I might go, oh, I'd like more. Maybe I'll spend another 5 or 10 minutes. But getting through that barrier of actually starting is always the hardest part.
Yeah. Another question for you. When have you been surprised, positively surprised by someone getting into movement? Whether it's someone that you've shown or someone who's a friend of yours or client that you've coached, but when have you been positively surprised in this way? Like someone moved much further than you thought or something like this. And as you're answering, I'm going to put a banner across the bottom, which is just for the people who are here with us to find out what are their takeaways so far. Please go ahead.
I had a really cool experience with a client of mine who was super physically active in her younger years, and then as an adult was not as active, as that happens to many of us. And she was feeling like she needed to get something, and something that would stick. That was the other thing. It's like you want it to be sustainable. So we talked a lot about, well, what do you love? What have you loved doing? And bike riding was something. And it was also someone who wanted community, which of course today it's a little bit different. But I said, what would it look like to build community and bike riding together? And so she joined a meetup and started bike riding every Saturday with these people, and went from just like, let me just move my body a little bit, to doing, I forget, and I actually think she's going to be watching this video later, so she'll know the exact mileage. She did this long ride with this group of people that was, well over 100 miles. It was crazy. And so it went from, I haven't been exercising, I want community, to that. So, but she found something that she loves, and that's sustainable.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah. So 2 things. One is she found something that she loves, but also she just went from 0 to 100. She really ramped up.
Exactly. Literally. Yeah.
Well, literally, actually. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
And built community along the way.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I would piggyback on that. I would say I work with a lot of women in leadership, and similarly, it's like maybe I don't exercise because I had, like Eileen said, a limited definition, or I tried things that didn't really work for me. The first chapter in my book is on joyful movement, and dance is actually the thing I encourage people to try. And surprised often to find that like very straight edged kind of executive women leaders are like, oh yeah, I used to love to dance. And maybe they're working with something like confidence, or they're working with something like, self-expression or influence. And suddenly they start to bring these parts of themselves back online that get reignited or remembered through just feeling good in the body again. And it ends up having these kinds of ripple effects. So I could tell a lot of different stories, but really just to say, again and again, I find that when someone takes the advice that Eileen just said and really like listen to the thing that feels true to you in your own body and then pursue that, you'll start to get these pieces of you that have interesting ripple effects, like things like confidence, like things like being able to be heard and seen in a different way because you're in yourself in a different way.
So Leanne, when you're working with these leaders, these women leaders, and you're telling them to dance, what are you saying? Are you saying just turn on the music between meetings? What are you saying?
Well, it depends on the person. I run a year-long public program, and I've done it inside of organizations as well. So, organizations as straight edge as civilian branches of the Navy, we've been in this conversation, and it's kind of like, what? Why would we dance? Like, we're going to dance in a leadership training program. So it depends, right? Sometimes I'll use a really simple, like a fitness entry point. If folks are worried about their health or resilience, that might be the angle. And we might do something that's, more like what Elaine just showed us, or something that's more like calisthenics even, to get people in touch. I also work with folks who are more just open to trying different things. And one of the things lately in the COVID time that's come up a lot is working with anger or working with grief. So I actually have some playlists that are on Spotify that are like angry dancing playlists or grief dancing playlists. And I say, go or pick a song that feels like how you feel right now and just let yourself be in that movement and that kind of song.
So one of the things that I continue to hear a few of you say, and it's actually, I'm going to read off your motto from your website, which is move your body, love your mind. I'm hearing a few of you say, do something, but also notice what, like Elaine, like Leanne, you just said, notice what feeling it has. Or Eileen, you said fit something that fits for you, that gives you a good feeling. So I'm just hearing a lot of movement, but also connected to everything else in yourself.
Totally.
Yeah, I think actually, I might add that it's bi-directional, right? Your mind can affect your body and your body can affect your mind.
Yes.
And so being able to attune in both directions is really helpful for people because it can help the motivation to continue. And for a brief example, my mom had a knee replacement a couple of years ago and was not really enjoying her physical therapy. I would make that an understatement. I was in a place where I was able to really like dive in and assist her with some of that. But the motivation for her was not about doing the PT. The motivation was about connection with me, or motivation towards a hike that we might do together in the future, or having that vision forward. And that's what helped her do her PT, not the get it done 3 times a day, right? As soon as we found those structures and what was helping her, then it impacted her body and her healing too. So it is bi-directional. And I think that if we tune into that, then we're going to have more success and more joy, as Eileen was saying.
Yeah. And notice all of your colleagues nodding along with that comment. Yes, it's bi-directional. Yes, it's bi-directional. Go ahead.
It was so beautifully. I love how you phrased that, Laura. That was beautiful. And along those lines, I worked for a large health organization, a hospital, and I worked in their wellness program. And for patients who really needed to lose significant amount of weight for health reasons. And we would talk about that mind-body connection. And what I hear you saying, Laura, which is what we talked a lot about, is the why. What's your why underneath this? Why do you want to be healthy? And it's not just to lose weight. If it's just to lose weight, you're gaining it back. There needs to be a compelling why that becomes like a magnet to make you want to do physical therapy, to make you want to lose weight because your heart, your lungs, whatever is not functioning at its peak. And when you start to integrate the brain, when you think, my brain functions better, I can problem solve, I'm more creative, I'm more fun to be around, I'm more likable, when I exercise, that can be compelling whys as well.
Yeah, totally. Elaine, did you have a story?
Yeah, I think to piggyback on your point around why you do it, for my whole career, it was around using your healthy body to help yourself and help other people. So I feel like that's such a meaningful approach, because it really dives deep into the core of who you are as a human. And I think that, to me, almost the biggest surprise was seeing Martin Seligman get up and like dance and rhythmic movement. There's so much power, particularly I think in aerobic movement. It's like the key to fitness in terms of your cardiovascular and brain health. So to see him up dancing, and I've presented a lot internationally. And I think when I presented in Portugal for the MAP program, the Master of Applied Positive Psychology program there, I mean, the people were wild dancing, and they have to be like among the most brilliant people, like scholars, but knowing to get down, because as Ray Fowler, a former president of the American Psychological Association, said, get people moving and they will learn. So again, just loving what you do. There's exercise, and movement has a personality. So if we dive deep into our personality and do what we love, then we're going to keep it up and inspire others. And then maybe movement will be a bigger part of who we are as a human being, and for our humanity to help other people.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of you so much for being with us, but don't go yet. Just before we end, would you each just say one wish that you have for the people who are watching this today? And I'll go in the reverse order that I did the first time. So let's do Leanne, then Laura, then Eileen, then Elaine. Leanne, what's a wish that you have for people?
Wow. Many things. I mean, what I was just sitting with a moment ago is how even joy is not necessarily a given, especially if we're in a business context. It's like, and my wish is that that you start with joy, or that you start with the assumption that joy is even possible in any context that you're working or leading in, and then go like, how do we reverse engineer it from there?
Thank you. So crisply said. Thank you. Laura.
I think I would just wish for you to be able to be in touch with your own body, and whatever that is for you. There are so many ranges in which we can find ourselves, even at the point of our own lifetime, that can change over time. So continue to check in on the present of where your body is, and know that that is a critical piece of information that can provide well-being.
Thank you. Thank you. Eileen, what's your wish for folks?
Yeah, my wish is it's two wishes as well. I'm going off of Leanne's thing. One is that if your body hasn't been treated the way you want to, start to think about treating your mind and body as well as we do our teeth. I find that we treat our teeth really well. We would never not brush our teeth morning and night, and we could see them. Right? So think about the heart and lungs and all your organs. And if we could treat those as well as you take care of your teeth, you are going to be doing really well. And then lastly, think about how movement can be a treat, not an I have to do, but it's something I get to do, and start to shift the dialogue around, this is such a treat that I get to do this, and I'll be a better person and feel better because of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I love what you guys said. And I would say move with appreciation and love, and just like to center yourself right into project goodness. And it's like the smile you send may return to you. And just in terms of lifting up your heart and then breathing, really breathing in and breathing out goodness and light and joy.
Thank you. Thank you all so very much. It's been wonderful being here with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senya.
What about Laura?
We will see you all. Again, we're here every day, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific. And we're looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Eileen.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. It was so fun.